Good morning, class. Welcome to today's math lesson. Again, we are investigation two, chapter two, I should say, investigation 2 and 3/10 on page 41. Today, we're going to be looking at the difference between mean and median and which one is best to describe what's called a typical data set. Okay, or I should say a typical number in a data set. So we're going to jump right into the investigation right now, guys. So if we look on page 41, it says the table below shows prices of skateboards at 4 different stores. So you have store A, store B, store C, and store D. And they've listed all of the various skateboard prices that are found at those stores, okay? So let's keep those numbers in mind as we turn to the next page. Okay, so part A says the dot plots below show the data from stores B and C. So again, they've taken those numbers and created a dot plot. Okay, another visual representation of the prices. Now, let's take a look at A numbers 1 and 2. Okay, it says compute the median and mean of the data from the two stores. So that's where we're going to start. Now, here's what I recommend. You'll notice that these dots aren't really precise. So if I'm looking at this dot right here, I know it's between 80 and 100, but is it exactly in the middle? Is it exactly 90? Maybe is it 88? Is it 92? I don't really know. So if I want to compute the mean and median of these two stores, of store B and C, I'm probably not going to be using this dot plot. What I'm going to be doing instead is using the actual data values. Okay? So number 1 says compute the median and the mean of the data from the two stores. Now, I am going to do that for store B. You will do it for store C. So make sure you're paying attention and following along, writing what I write down so that you have an example of what to do. So if you have not done so already, investigation 2 and 3/10, you have your content objective, you have your vocabulary words, although I don't think we had any today actually. So maybe no vocabulary words, but let's first start by calculating the median. Okay, now as a reminder, again, I'm going to go to store B. I'm going to go to the prices here. As a reminder, to find the median, you list all the data values in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to have you pause this video right now, and I want you to order all these numbers from least to greatest. You can unpause when you are finished. All right, now, normally if we were in class right now, I would have given you a paper, a physical copy of these so that you could cross them off as you write them down. Now, obviously, we can't do that on my book, and you obviously can't do that on your computer. So one thing to do to make sure that you have all the data values is simply to count. Store B's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 prices. So before I calculate my median, I want to make sure I've got 17 data points. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I've got them all. Now, the first thing I'm going to ask myself is, I've got 17 data points, right? 17 data points. Now, is 17 odd or even? 17 is an odd number. And why do I like that when I'm finding the median? Because that tells me there's going to be only one number in the middle. There's not going to be two. We'll have to find the middle of those two middle numbers, like if I had an even number of data points. So that tells me I'm going to have 8 data points below the median, 8 points above, and whatever's left in the middle, that's my median. So again, I cross off lowest or smallest, greatest. Second, smallest, second greatest, and so on and so forth. There's my median. My median is $50 at store B. And again, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 data points below my median. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points above my median. 50 is right in the middle. Now, let's talk about mean. Do I really want to make blocks or stacks of blocks that are 120 high like I have been doing the last 2 days? Of course not. I gave you a little bit of a hint, but in case you're not sure, I want you guys to write this down. It's really important. What is the formula for finding the mean of any data set? Well, there's two steps. Number one, you find the sum of the data set, and then you divide by the number of data points in the set. So if you need to write this down, just go ahead and press the pause button right now, and I'll show you how we're going to do this for store B. Okay, so the first thing you do is I need to find the sum of the data set. So I'm going to add all these numbers together. I've got to find the sum of all of these numbers. So hopefully now you're seeing why I'm giving you 2 days to do this investigation, because this problem alone is a lot of addition. Okay, so I'm going to do 10 plus 13 plus 15 plus 15 plus 30 plus 35 plus 40 plus 45 plus 50 plus another 50 plus another 50. By the way, 50 was also the mode because 50 appeared most often. So the mode and the median in this case were the same. I wonder if the mean will be. We'll have to find out. So 60 plus 70 plus 70 plus 90 plus 120 and another 120. Whoa, that's going to be a huge sum. Okay, pause this video and see if you can find the correct sum. When you have a sum, unpause the video and see if you got the same number I did. Okay, I got 883. If you did not, you may need to go back to try to find your calculation error, but that is the correct sum. Now, once you've found the sum, then our first step is done. But our second step is to divide the number of data points in the set, or divide by the number of data points in the set. So my sum is 883. I had, if you guys remember, I had 17 data points, right? So I'm going to divide the sum by the 17 data points that I had. Okay? So 17 goes into 88. I'm going to estimate about 5 times. Because first of all, 17 doesn't go into 8, does it? 17 goes into 88 5 times. 5 times 7 is 35. Carry the 3. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. I subtract it out. I get a 3. I bring down a 3. Well, let's see. 17 times 2 is 34. That's too much. So I'm going to do 1 time, because 1 times 17 is 17. Now, can I stop here? When I subtract out, and let's see, I borrow from the 3, make it a 2. My 3 becomes 13. I get a 6. 2 minus 1 is 16. Can I stop here? Nope, I cannot. I need to add a decimal point and a 0 and keep dividing, right? So I'm going to bring down a 0. 17 into 160. That's a hard one, but I know that multiplying 17 by 10 would give me 170. 170 is too big for 160. So I'm going to go one less and call it 9. 9 times 7, let's see, that's 63. So put down the 6, put down the 3, carry the 6. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 6 is 15. I subtract it out. I get a 7. What do I do next? Can I stop? Nope. Got to bring another 0 down, and I get 70. Let's see. 17 goes into 70. That's a tough one. Well, I know 17 times 2 is 34, and 34 times 2 is 68. So let's try 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28. So put down the 8, carry the 2. 4 times 2 is 4, plus that 2 is 6. Now, my decimal did not repeat and it did not terminate, but I am talking about dollars. So I'm going to say the mean is about $51.94. Okay? So for store B, I have the median at $50 and the mean at $51.94. Now, there is still one more question that I need to answer, which is right here. Describe how the measures of center are mean, median, and mode. In this case, it's median and mean, and the dot plots are related. So in other words, if I'm looking at this dot plot for store B, how is my median of 50 represented in this dot plot, and how is the mean of about $51.94 shown. And then the second part is, how does the distribution of data, in other words, how do all these dots influence location of the mean and the median? So think about that, and I'll share with you my answer. Okay, the mean and median are very close to each other, period. And I'm going to show you guys kind of what I'm talking about here, right? So the mean and the median are pretty closely related to each other, right? So they're about right here on the actual graph. Now it talks about the distribution. So if the distribution, if I notice, most skateboards are lower or cheaper than $80, right? In fact, I'd say they're either $70 or less. But because of these three higher price points for the skateboard, our average is going to be about 50. So I might just say to myself, you know what? Most skateboards cost less than $70. Okay? So what I would like for you guys to do today is I would like for all of you to do the same thing for store C. Find the median and the mean and figure out how do the mean and median compare to the dots and the distribution of the dots in store C. You'll notice I'm wondering what effect this really expensive skateboard might have on the mean and the median for store C. I wonder if that skateboard's made out of gold. Who knows? Anyway, I'd love for you guys to finish A and B today. You'll notice B starts on page 42 and then it goes up to the top on page 43. And then we'll save the rest of the investigation for tomorrow, okay? All right, guys, good luck, everybody. I know there's a lot of calculations today. Be very careful when you're adding all those numbers together. Be very careful when you're dividing. Not a bad idea to double check just to make sure you have all the correct answers. All right, guys, good luck, and I'll see you again with the same investigation tomorrow.